Okay, so what a week of football. The contender list has completely shifted. The Lions might be dead, and all of a sudden the Super Bowl is wide open. So we got a lot to go over, and without further ado, let's get into the recap. They're dead. They're finally dead. Fuck that 1% galactic scenario where the 49ers can still technically somehow make the playoffs. I don't care. The Niners, still easily the best team in the NFC West, are eliminated from the playoffs. So let's just breeze through this game so I can rip into this fresh pack of pitiful failure. But this game was still amazing. Let's start with that. All week long, Deebo Samuel, a once great warrior for the Super Bowl-less Shanahan 49ers era, was upset. He was whining that he's just as good as ever and he needs the ball more and he'll be amazing again. Just take his word for it. Don't look at the stats, okay? Stats aren't real. And in this game, Shanahan clearly made deviations from his usual game plan to give Deebo Samuel the ball. And it didn't work at all. The guy's just cooked. I don't know what else to say. If it weren't for Jawan Jennings being elite out of nowhere, this would be a poverty-ass wide receiver room. But meanwhile, while Stafford almost had 4 picks in his first 6 throws, the 49ers couldn't get anything going either. It was an ugly weather game, but the play of the game, and basically the play that sums up this entire 49ers season that swung everything, was when Purdy threw a perfect pass to Deebo Samuel for a touchdown that went right through his hands. Oh, this must be what it was like to watch Rome fall. Man, funny stuff, Deebo. Really funny stuff. I don't like you, but you're making a great case to be one of my favorite players this season. Devondre Campbell's up there too. Good effort from him as well. I thank you for your service, boys. But the Rams kinda just did enough. Brock Purdy threw a bad pick, Colby Parkinson came up huge, and from the here, I mean, there's disaster seasons, and then there's this. You gave a bag to Ayuk, who played like trash and got hurt. McCaffrey already got paid, and his career is definitely not going up from here. Trent Williams, the most important man on their offense outside of C-Mac, has been out for a few weeks, and for a guy with leg problems, an ankle that isn't healing as well as initially thought is scary stuff. And now they're going to have to pay Purdy. This era might just be over. At the very least, a dark, dark time is coming in the next 2 seasons for the Niners, at least. Just so y'all know, after pretty much every single game, I try to see as many fan reactions and check post-game analysis as much as I can. And every time, I shit you not, every single time the Texans have played a football game this season, Houston fans are not even remotely satisfied. And this time it was the same old thing, but it makes sense, right? In theory, these are 2 teams that, although I would have disagreed with you before the season, were teams that could have been seen as 2 top 4 teams in the AFC, but it just hasn't worked out that way. The Dolphins had injuries, the Texans have protection, penalty, and Sigma Red Pill Joker edit issues, but both have not been the same teams they wanted to be for sure, and like I said, the game reflected that. Turnovers and penalties were everywhere in this one, and both teams were just trading blows to see who could shove their own fist up their ass farther. Tua was throwing picks and fumbling. The Texans couldn't capitalize on any of their mistakes, and that went on until the 4th quarter, when the Houston defense bailed out the offense again. It's been the same damn thing, bro. The Texans have a point differential of plus 28 on the season, which isn't terrible, but it's far away from the contenders and where we would have liked this team to be before the season. Hell, they're closer to the Raiders' point differential than the Lions. Stroud hasn't been good still. Even Joe Mixon was bad in this one, and the defense is what's keeping the Texans scary, however. They had 3 picks in this game and only allowed 3.6 yards per play, including the game winner where Tyreek Hill just got grown-manned by Derek Stingley. The Texans do have the division all to themselves, though, which, you know, who could have seen that coming? Sloppy football, boys. This is why people don't take the Commanders seriously, and still won't. The Eagles win this game by 30. The Lions win this game by 30 pre-purge. But the Commanders? Well, I mean, they had their shots. The first half was an absolute disaster for the Saints. They barely managed to crack 50 yards, and the only guy that caught a pass that wasn't named Alvin Kamara was Dante Pettis. I didn't know he was employed. I assumed he was like in crypto or something. But the Commanders just couldn't pull away. They had so many holding calls, and the refs weren't great in general, though. I mean, they literally stopped the clock on the most important play of the game for no reason. The refs just felt like it, and the NFL was forced to apologize afterwards. But that's not the point. I don't care. Well, what I'm trying to say is it's unacceptable. Unacceptable for a team with deep playoff hopes to have a sequence like that even matter versus a team without a head coach and 2 quarterbacks coming in the same game. It just can't happen. And eventually, Jaden Daniels' talent just couldn't overcome everything. They let him get sacked 8 times, and Spencer Rattler came in and almost stole the game, but came up just a little bit short. It's just sloppy as hell, Commanders, but you got it done, I guess. Man, I'm really gonna miss the 2024 New York Jets. I really am. This team is funny, man. They're just a bunch of goofballs. This game had 0 implications on anything other than preventing a few depression cases, but this game will be completely forgotten about in like a year. But, I mean, this was Jets-Jaguars football. It had to be funny in some way, right? Aaron Rodgers had 3 completions at halftime. Okay, totally normal stuff. Got it. Devontae Adams then had 200 receiving yards in 1 half and carried me to a fantasy win. Okay, sounds about right. And Aaron Rodgers, at the prime age of 73 years old, somehow outrushed Breece Hall, who the Jets have completely given up on, by the way, but I don't know. Rodgers played well, again, say what you want, but he's provided the Jets with the best quarterback play they've had since like 2010, and maybe even farther back. This is not a compliment, though. I'm telling you, your franchise is a miserable hellhole, Jets fans, and if you're under the age of 18, may I offer you either running away as far as you can from that team, or just taking up chronic out. But the game was still cool. Mac Jones is still playing football, which is something, and the Aaron Rodgers Devontae Adams takeover session really pleased the 2020 NFL fan in me, and he did it! He finally did it! Devontae, my hero! I knew you were a Raider the whole time, brother. Good shit! Keeping the Jets far away from our f***ing tank, baby! Woo!
I'm going home to drink now.
Football. Football? I mean, I think the Will Levis ball sport experience counts as a whole nother thing, technically, but this matchup was something resembling a sport. For those of you who didn't know, this is William. He can't play football, but he tries. And in this one, he tried to get a head start into getting the head coaching job for his high school football team, turning the ball over 4 times against the Bengals, and got benched for Mason Rudolph. It's just interesting, is all. The Bengals did not play a complete game whatsoever. They played, like, bad, as the Titans continue to waste one of the NFL's best defenses with clearly the best offense in football under Will Levis. It's a mess. Hell, even the Bengals fumbling the ball out of the end zone didn't even matter in this one, because there was that big of an offensive talent gap between the two teams, but honestly, this fat guy play might be my favorite play all season. I mean, look at him go and watch this stiff arm. Oh my god!
He even has to make sure that his trousers are up high enough.
No way. There's no chance. How is Tim Boyle back? Who keeps giving this man checks? Why is he allowed on NFL sidelines? Tim Boyle should be an inspiration to all of us, no matter how big our dreams are. Maybe, if we get lucky enough one day, we might get laughed at by some random guy on the internet. Sadly, though, Tim Boyle could not lead our tank, and Lamar Jackson, man, I mean, I want him. I need him on my football team. Sam Darnold is the only guy in the entire NFL, not named Lamar Jackson this season, that has a game with a passer rating of over 150 and 5 touchdowns or more. Not easy to do, right? Well, Lamar's done it twice now, this year alone. I mean, the man had more touchdowns than incompletions. Ravens good, Giants bad. There's your caveman logic for this game. Try again next week, New York. And the battle is getting intense between which one of us will be the first to break the 2-win mark. Well, somehow the Panthers were favored in this game for the first time since 2015. Now, I'm joking, but only a little, because the Panthers still suck. Bryce Young was absolutely terrorized by the Cowboys defense, and whoever the hell number 11 is all game long. And Carolina couldn't get the run game going, and we got ourselves a vintage Cooper Rush performance. So, I guess the Cowboys can keep their delusional playoff hopes alive? Sort of? I don't know, bro. It's Carolina. But it turns out, when you don't lead a single statistical category in a football game and you're not the Kansas City Chiefs, you don't win football games. Shocking, right? Speak of the devil. Please, though, let's get serious for a second here. Allow us to have a moment of silence for Patrick. Our sweet Patrick Mahomes was injured on Sunday, so we must pray. Okay. Thank you. Let's all hope he's okay, but this didn't feel like a Chiefs game, honestly. For all of you that were here in the Stone Age in 2018 to 2021, when the Chiefs just buried people in the first half, it was a great time back then, and I guess you could argue this was kind of similar, but not really. The Browns just suck, and we got Jameis Winston's worst game as a Brown, so even with the red railgun playing mop-up duty, they got it done again, but I don't know. How dare I question the almighty walrus, I know, but riddle me this, Batman. Why did the Chiefs attempt 40 passes in this game? Like, why? Why was this game even a little bit not a blowout? But still, even with this being a slaughtering, I don't get it. I don't get how the Chiefs keep winning. Ah, yes. A battle between two teams that for some reason 80% of you think that I just despise with all of my being. And shockingly, these two teams are both good at football. I know. Crazy take, right? And this was a fun game overall that was going to come down to whoever had more talent and who could capitalize on mistakes more. And the team to do that was the Eagles. The Steelers started out the game slow as hell and finished the game the same way too, but besides that little pocket of time in the second quarter where TJ Watt was making Lane Johnson look like prime Alex Leatherwood and the Steelers offense seemed somewhat alive, this was all Eagles. They're just better. I don't know what else to say. To be fair, I feel like this game would have been way closer all the way through if it were in Pittsburgh instead of Philly, but who knows? All I'm trying to say is that this game probably also doesn't matter too much for the Steelers. For the Eagles, this is a huge game because the Lions might be slowing down, but, you know, the Eagles also just have the ability to just pick you apart on offense without Saquon Barkley, which is scary. And for Pittsburgh, they're in the playoffs as well, so they both just have to try to stay healthy for the postseason. I did not see this game coming in the slightest, but I definitely should have, honestly. The Chargers just aren't the same team anymore without their dudes, and no matter what, Greg Roman just cannot accept that his team can't run the offense through the ground game. And Gus Edwards, yes, they actually passed way more in this one, but that was more of a game script thing than anything, and the Chargers kinda were just playing catch-up, because Baker Mayfield cooked up a loaded souffle, man. He's so good at football. Mike had damn near 200 yards. Baker had 4 touchdowns, and the Bucs continue to just be the biggest what-if all season in my mind. If they were healthier, this is a team to me that would be competing with the Lions and Eagles for a top 1 spot in the NFC. Hell, they even beat both of those teams, but yeah, the Bucs are on the rise while the Chargers need some help. They were absolutely dominated in the second half, allowing 30 straight points while not scoring even once in the second half, which surprisingly is why they lost this game. Yeah, I am a professional at this, I know. What a way to honor the legacy of the late but legendary Matthew Ryan versus Russell Wilson duel from way back in the day, with a game that might have actually been weirder in a vacuum. The Colts looked like they were going to have a win baked and handed straight to them in a warm blanket. Instead, they unwrapped said blanket and were greeted with a pipe bomb. Right after Jonathan Taylor fumbled on the 1 again, like, why is this like the 6th time this has happened this year? The Broncos then had the game all to themselves. Ignore the fact that Bo Nix had 130 yards and 3 picks, because nothing the Broncos did mattered. This game was a vicious duel between the Colts and the Colts. And damn, it wasn't entertaining, I guess. Anthony Richardson is unfortunately not generational, but still, give credit to Denver's defense. If you make one dumb mistake against them, it's kind of over. They'll swarm your corpse like a pack of piranhas, and you got no chance of making it out alive. So, good win, Denver. I don't see how this team wins a playoff game, but they're going to get a chance. Oh, shit. Detroit just got rolled, and the injuries, man. We'll get there in a second, but the score to this game is lying to you. It just is. Jared Goff played great, but the Bills ragged the Lions. Now, yes, Buffalo's defense is a major problem, but Josh Allen has a large penis, so I'm not really sure any criticisms to this team really apply. I'm sorry. He's Josh Allen, man. He's amazing. It's like when Josh decides the Bills are going to score, they just do. He's on an absolute tear right now. His last 2 games, he's got 10 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. He's the MVP, but that's kind of obvious. I'm just shocked that the Bills dominated as much as they did. This game was damn near 35-14 deep in the third. It's just weird, man. The Bills are capable of something like this, but we still can't forget that Josh Allen isn't perfect and has games like his Houston performance earlier this season under his belt. So we have to remember that. But for Detroit, dude, it is not looking good out there. The Lions should be fine, I think, but the nerfs just keep coming on defense. And now it's appearing as if Aleem McNeil and Carlton Davis will be out for the entire season, which I can't make enough of a deal about. Aleem McNeil is such a massive piece of their run defense alone, and now with him gone, they are going to be vulnerable on the run game too. And David Montgomery on the offensive side of the ball is also out for the season as well. So that is a humongous piece on each side of the ball, just being gone for the season. So I don't know, man. It sucks, but at this point, I might have no choice. I think Philadelphia is just better than them now. I'm going to be honest, I almost forgot to write something for this game. The Cardinals are kind of not really in the playoff race. I mean, I guess they are, but come on. It's the Seahawks and Rams division to lose. And do I care enough to go back and watch the full game of Cardinals versus Patriots? No, I don't. And chances are you don't either. To sum it up, James Conner kind of just took over this game, and the New England Patriots are a bad football team, despite Drake May still showing good progress as a rookie quarterback. All right, that's all I got. You know, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I really thought they would flex like Lions-Bills to this primetime slot, but they let it play out, and I figured this game would play out like Niners-Packers did, and yeah, it did. The Seahawks got absolutely manhandled right out of the gate when Jacobs did Jacobs things, and the Packers are just good, man. I don't know what else needs to be said. The whole receiver core can't catch shit, but when they do, their offense is a powerhouse, and it's just a joy to watch Matt LaFleur scheme up Jaden Reed sweeps and wild-ass motion misdirection plays. It's nice watching a productive offense, you know? It looks cool, but for how good Green Bay's offense was, their defense won them the game. Geno Smith got injured damn near because of the Packers' constant pressure, and when Sam Howell came in, things got worse. The pocket just collapsed in like 1.3 seconds, and although there was a little scare when Jacobs fumbled, without Geno out there, the Seahawks didn't stand a chance, so I don't know. I'm still not sold on the Packers as a Tier 1 contender, but I'm hyped for the potential Green Bay Eagles divisional game. Look, bro, I understand that people want to keep dunking on the Bears and be like, oh, look at the Bears, look at them, let's point and laugh at how bad they still are, but, like, bro, this isn't even like a disappointing team at this point. They are actually just terrible, and are in the midst of one of the most incredible collapses I've ever seen. We kinda saw this coming after the Hail Mary, but I don't think anyone could have ever expected things to be this bad for the Bears. It's just, teams like the Bears and Jets and Browns are just, they're making me rethink how I even make videos in the first place. Because it's like, it's an ongoing book. It's never going to end. Their misery is going to keep going, no matter what. There's never going to be an end to it, so I don't know, man. In this game in particular, though, the Vikings absolutely blew them out again. It's just Bears football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My sweet lord, this game was way too close. Falcons, what the fuck was that? Why was this game close? Look, that was the worst performance I've seen us put up all year. Pound for pound, this is up there with one of the least talented teams I've ever seen us field. And I remember Jason Campbell and TJ Carey and Rod Streeter. But today, I mean, dude, something just hit me. Like, there are players on our team that I genuinely didn't know played for us. Like, I didn't know Terrace Marshall was on our team. Why should I care? There's no reason to care. It's just, I want to enjoy football again. I know that sounds like a tall task, but maybe one day it'll happen, just not today. But luckily, we ended up pulling up the loss. I genuinely started tweaking out after the Falcons failed on that third down. Thank God that the refs gave us that absolutely horrible roughing the passer call, but yeah, we actually had a chance. We almost got a Hail Mary and won it, but thankfully we didn't. And we are still in the #1 pick race. Our destiny is in our own hands, but God damn it, Jacksonville. You better not ruin this for us. Next week's gonna be a movie. But before we go, you know what time it is. It's time for the Tubfrog Discord Awards, where I turn to you, the people, to see what you thought were the best and worst plays and players from Week 15. And without further ado, let's begin, because I asked what you thought the best play was from Week 15, and we got Dan Skipper's reception touchdown, which once again is absolutely crazy that that happened in a loss, but the Lions keep bringing out trick plays, and we'll see if it's enough to, keep them in the #1 seed in the NFC. And then I asked what the worst play was from Week 15, and I could have included a lot more, but yeah, I expected this to just be an absolute blowout. The Colts reverse pass for a pick six was... I don't know what it is about this team that just comes up with the worst plays known to man, but they do it well. And then I asked what the best game was from Week 15, and yeah, there's no hiding it. It was a pretty midweek, but I guess Bills vs. Lions takes this one, despite it being kind of a blowout for the entirety of it. But I don't know, man. Jets vs. Jaguars was pretty fun, but like nobody really watched the game. And then I asked what the best player performance was from Week 15, and Josh Allen. He keeps doing it, man. I don't understand. I think it's absurd that Lamar Jackson only got 6 votes, but, I guess that's football for you. And then I asked who the worst player was from Week 15, and damn it, Kirk Cousins he's lost his streak. No! But yeah, this might be the last time Will Levis even plays football, so he's got to get one more before he heads out the door. And then I asked who the best team was from Week 15, and it ended up going to the Bills again, man. This team is just... they're on fire right now. The defense has so much to clean up, but goddamn, dude, Josh Allen, dude. Oh, Joshua. And then I asked who the worst team was from Week 15, and it ended up going to the Colts. I mean, I guess. I don't know, dude. The 49ers really did not look good with their season on the line, but who am I to speak for the people? And then I asked what the best season of SpongeBob SquarePants was, and rightfully so, went to season 3. Come on now, there shouldn't be too much of an argument here. Comedy, absolutely peak. But anyways, if you like this video, then subscribe. I've got a channel, and if you like this video, then watch this video I did a few weeks ago on the Jacksonville Jaguars and their miserable NFL franchise. It's pretty good, trust me. And thanks to all my Patrons for pledging $1. It truly does mean a lot. But anyways, until next time.